Welcome to my channel. My name's Julia. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator and I love to scrapbook. So today I'm going to do a very different sort of scrapbook layout. I have wanted for a while to just do a layout just with cardstock. So I've had a little inspiration and I'm going to see what we can come up with. I'll show you the inspiration. It's this lovely layout. I don't know who it's by. So this is what I'm going to sort of be inspired by. Okay, now I had this picture of my hubby and I on our cruise. Look how many blues are in it. It's absolutely incredible. And so I thought that circle in the middle could be a porthole. So, right, let's start at the beginning. I wanted to cut a circle out of this 12 by 12 in the centre. And I did it off camera because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. But I used my Cricut and it has a very clever centre point button that if you set it all up correctly will cut the shape right out of the middle. So this is a 7.5 inch circle that I've cut out of the middle of a piece of 12 by 12 white A4. Now you may not have a Cricut, you may have a circle cutter, you may only have a plate literally that you draw around. So I don't know how you're going to cut your circle out, but I will leave that with you and you cut it out. But this is 7.5 inches, which I've cut out. Okay. I am also using as a background the new Azure Afternoon 12 by 12 because look what, oh, he is pretty much wearing Azure, isn't he? My hubby's t-shirt. So I'm going to do that. So I want this to have a little bit of a border. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off all sides. 1/4 inch, let's make sure I get this right. 1/4 inch. 1, 2, 3. Last one, let's not go around twice. 4. Okay, so that should now be 11.5 inches, shouldn't it? Which it is. Brilliant. So now that should sit in the middle with a nice border. As I said, I already cut this. So I've got this circle. So my plan, I pulled out all the different blues of cardstock, Stampin' Up cardstock that I've got. And my plan is to do this behind some way or other. So I'm going to do various blues interspersed with a couple of little white bits just to break it up a bit, I think. And I really wanted to use the new boho blue, but I don't have the boho blue card, but I do have the ink. I might just ink some paper and use that. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips, enough strips to cover this and make them slightly larger than I need them. And then I'm going to rip an edge, cut them at 1 inch. Then I've got space to tear them and then space to layer them as well. I'm going to do that. All right. I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, I've cut some strips. I'm not really going to know until I start putting it together if I want all of these blues. Now, I've also cut myself a strip that I'm going to colour with the boho blue ink. So I'm using one of our blending brushes. I'm going to fill it up with ink. And I'm literally just going to ink it to make it the colour that I want, even though it's a bit dark there. Oopsie. Well, it's the sea. It doesn't really matter, does it? That'll be all right, won't it? It's not perfect, but it'll be okay. So I'm not going to stick this down yet. I'm not going to stick anything down yet. I'm going to layer them somehow or other. I don't want to try and give it a scale of colour, even though I'm already doing that, aren't I? Oh, I've got too many pieces. Do you reckon a couple of whites? I just was thinking about breaking it up a bit with some white. Well, now I need to make a decision. Am I gonna tear? Let's stick them behind and see what we think. I think I'd be more inclined to tear them if they had a white inner, but because they don't, they're coloured all the way. This card's coloured all the way through, which is brilliant. I love. But for tearing, it doesn't show you much difference in colour. So let's have a quick look. Well, I don't want it to look like a blind. I'm going to tear them. So literally, I'm going to take each one of these and I'm going to tear the edge like this. Now, I know I could ink with white, but I think the white would, excuse my phone binging, would take quite a while to dry. So I'm going to do that and then I will come back. Okay, so I've ripped them all. So they're probably now about 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch. So what I think I am going to do is I'm just going to layer them. What I could do with doing is finding the centre, which might be where this might come in useful. I wasn't, oh no, I'm going to need to come from the other way. Don't think about it too much, Julia. Oh, I just need to cover edges. Well, the interesting thing I did find is that if you wanted to have a white core on your paper, you could ink white cardstock and then just use that. I don't know that I'm going to have enough now that I've ripped it. I thought I could use smaller bits. Might well be able to. I just want to get an idea of the colours, how I'm going to make it work. Oh, that's a bit more. Oh, I could just slip in a little bit of that. That might stretch it enough to make it cover the 7.5 inch circle. All right, I'm going to have a fiddle with that off camera and I will come back. All right, I've stuck it down. I did actually use the circle because I just thought, at least I know that it's the right size of paper. I've covered the right amount of area to make it work. It's still a little bit high on that one, but anyhow. So I've tried not to be, I hope I haven't been symmetrical, but I know me, I am very symmetrical. I don't think I have. I just spread them out. I had not too many dark ones next to light ones and all that sort of thing. And then that is going to sit on top, which I think looks pretty darn cool. Now this photo is a bit big, so and it's going to sit behind here. So I'm going to cut it down, and also, I don't know how I've done it, but I've got fingerprints on my photograph. So I'm going to cut it down a bit, and I am going to mount it, I think, because that's how I prefer. There's a lot of sky. So I'm going to cut that down, and I will come back. So I cut this down to about 5 by 3.5 and then nibbled away at it just a little bit. It's about that size. And then I've matted it onto white and then onto the Azure Afternoon, just so it ties it in with the whole layout as well. Even though that is in those stripes, but I don't think that'll matter. So I'm going to begin to put this together. Now I'm going to stick this down. I'm just going to stick to this. I'm just putting glue on the outside. I don't want to lean on that to make it stick at all to my layout yet, because it might need moving. I'm going to get this one in the right place, up at the top. That looks about right, doesn't it? I don't want to press too hard because I'm going to... So I only put glue around the edges of this white so that I could just slip that one in there. I quite like it overhanging, going under and going over. Yeah, so that's going to go there. Okay, let's put some glue on that one. Go think I'm gonna go. Oh gosh. There. All right, now, if I show you the layout I'm inspired by, the title is going around the outside of here. And then she's got a swoop of things going up. Now, I really want some birds, and I just happened to find in the Waves die that there are some seagulls. And there's an embellishment here. Now, in our room, we had these glass covers, and this looks like a perfect embellishment. Either I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna have the whole thing. I might just have the first circle so that it sits there. I'm gonna have the title. Where's my dies? It's either gonna be something like The Cruising Life, or it could be the Royal Caribbean, name, or what's the name of the ship? Anthem of the Sea. Oh, that might be cool. It's quite big, but then I've got a lot of space. The Anthem of the Seas. That might be quite cool, mightn't it? So I'm going to do it in white. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out a couple of times and layer them to make them thick so they look like thickers. So let me just see if my letters are going to give... Oh, yes, perfect. All right, I'm going to titivate with the title. I'm going to titivate with that one, and then I'm going to come back. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. That's a lot of letters for the Anthem of the Seas, twice. So literally what I'm going to do, I'm going to stack them just to give them a bit more definition when they go on the page, I'm hoping. Oh, let me get myself a bit of scrap. This is when I'm going to get sticky. I'm going to stack them exactly on top of each other, just to give them more dimension. So I'm going to do that off camera, but it's going to take me a little while, and then I shall be back. I'm going to use Reach for the Stars dies, because they've got this whole load of beautiful circles here. To cut this out. Now, the one I really only want to cut on that line there, which I could do by hand, but I wouldn't get it very neat. But the one that fits, well, doesn't fit actually, sits just inside the blue. Oh, I don't want it like that. So I'm going to try this one and see how we go. I might need a bit of washi tape to stick that down, I think. Excuse the state of my mats. A bit of washi tape. Let's get this in the right place. Oh, that's all right, isn't it? Okay, let me put that away a minute. This is going to sit somewhere down there. The wording is going to sit around the circle. I saw somebody cut alphabets. Well, it actually wasn't alphabet, it was words, but words out of using a die, but with putting card onto the self-adhesive foam that we've got, foam sheets, which I've never done before, and they looked like proper alphabet stickers, so I will be trying that. Oh, I thought Anthem of the Seas was much longer than that. Maybe I should write cruise, because then that would bring it all the way around, wouldn't it? I don't think I can quite fit Norwegian fjords in. Oh no, it's going to take me forever. I thought this was going to be a quick layout. I think it needs to come down. So I'm going to have to do cruise, I think, to add it in to make it a bit of a longer title to come round. Leave that with me. I have to be back in a mo. Okay, so once I cut out cruise, I then realised it still wasn't quite long enough to go around the whole of the circle. So I then cut cruise June 23. And now it finally goes around the circle. So the next thing to do is stick it down. So I've just worked out what the centre letter is of the whole thing, and it's the S. So I'm going to put that one in first, And then I'm going to work out either way, and hopefully then it will be equal as we go around. That's my plan. We'll see when I come back if it actually works. All right, it's all, well, the title's stuck down. It needs some embellishing. I had an idea. Where are you? Alphabets. Nope. There it is, underneath all the pile of rubbish. Whoops. Of using these dies just to sort of come up like this. I think they look quite cute, actually. Just a few seagulls. There was an awful lot of seagulls around. And then I might see if I have any stamping sentiments that would work just to come here. And then the other thought was that I might put an embellishment between each word to try and make it look a little bit more like a porthole. I'm going to have a play with that. I think I've ended it relatively symmetrically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and cut some of these dies. I think I'm just going to have a few birds. What do you think in black? White's going to lose it, so I might go black. Up there, and then do a little bit of embellishment, and then I'm done. So I'm going to cut some of these out, and then I shall come back. Okay, cut some out. I've done them in black. I know they should be white because they're seagulls, but the white's just going to end up being lost. But I don't know whether maybe they're just too small. I think I'm going to have a little play. I think I am going to leave them on there because I quite like them. I think if I had more, it would make them look even like there was a swarm or something going on, wouldn't it? I don't really want a swarm of seagulls. Oh, put in the comments, what do you think? Should I leave it? What would you do instead? I'm going to play for a little while and see, and then I'll stick them down, and then I'll show you what I decided in the end. I couldn't really find a sentiment that I liked that would go with this. They're all friends, and he, you know, he's my hubby, not my friend, even though he is a friend, of course. So I don't know if I'm going to. So I'm going to stick that one down, have a little think, maybe put some, well, I was going to put, as I said, I was going to put the dots, but I don't know if I want to, because actually I want to keep that white. I'm doing a little titivating, and then I shall come and show you the finished product. Okay, so I thought I might use some of these. These are boho blue in colour dots. I won't use any of the other colour. I just think I'm going to put a few little ones throughout it just to, I don't know if they're too tiny to see really. I've got one of my seagulls flying off into the distance. I thought it was quite cute. I'm in danger of doing too much, I think. I don't know, oh, I've gone off it now. Ah. Okay, they may be coming off. I haven't decided yet. There you go. That is my layout using just cardstock. Well, pretty much just cardstock. I've used Alphabet Alamode dies. I've used the birds from the Waves dies. And I've torn card and laid it behind a circle. And that is my layout for today. If you want to comment about anything that you think I should change, I'm happy to hear. If you just want to let me know if you've done a similar layout or something like that. Also, if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel, I would be so happy. It really helps my little channel get some more views. And thank you for joining me today. Bye!